Okay, good evening guys, good evening YouTube. Welcome to episode number 31 of the FPL Family, episode 31. This is our Game Week 17 review video. They're coming thick and fast, the Game Weeks, as we know throughout Christmas. Before you know it, it'll be the next one. I think we've got a bit of a, is it like a little bit of a break now? Is it Carabao Cup, isn't it, during the week?
Well, you might have a break, but we go again.
We've got a break. Yeah, we're actually out of it, aren't we? Thanks to being knocked out by Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. But I actually feel like a break at this point of the season might not be such a bad thing, you know. Might just a few players that might need a bit of a rest, and I think, you know, for Firmino getting rested a couple of weeks ago, started to see the fruits of that rest today. What a game! What a game! I was up on the ceiling when it was a weird game, guys, because I was so impressed with both sides actually in the first 20-30 minutes. I thought it was a real high tempo game, Liverpool versus Man United. And actually United were probably a little bit lucky to go in 1-0 at the break because of the Alisson mistake. And then Jose kind of just was like, oh, okay, well, I'll play for the draw then second half. He brought Fellaini on, went to a back four and thought, well, I'll shut up shop. Kind of invited Liverpool on a little bit. So, I'm very, very happy that we did it, but I was kind of surprised that he didn't carry on with that high tempo that had gotten, you know, as far as they did. But there we go. I'm not complaining. Very, very happy. You're obviously very happy with the Spurs result. Eventually, got the win. Eventually.
Talk about leave it late.
It was pretty close, wasn't it? It was pretty close. And actually, it was. It wasn't until Christian Eriksen came on that game. We're going to talk in more detail, guys. Of course, we are about the games, but it wasn't until Eriksen came on that I even thought, you know, Kane came in the game and you started to look like back to the old, you know, your old self. It was, you miss him. He's a big miss for you when he doesn't play. It's a big miss. But presumably you're happy.
I'm happy.
You're happy. Kane captain came in for you just.
Well, did better than Aubameyang.
Just for Aubameyang, absolutely. So guys, welcome along. Thank you for joining. As I said before, episode 31, Game Week 17 review. So we're going to be looking at the fixtures as ever. We'll be looking at our teams and how we got on. We'll be updating on both the live stream Regulars League and of course the Christmas Present League. And we've only got one game week left in the FPL Family Christmas Present League.
It's really fast, doesn't it, that?
Listen, you know, December goes absolutely bonkers, doesn't it? It's so quick with games every single week. So one more game week left for the FPL Family Christmas Present League. And this time next week, we will be announcing who has won the Stadium Tour for two around Wembley on December the 23rd, after the Spurs and Everton game on that Super Sunday on the 23rd of December. We'll be here, live streaming as ever, 8 p.m, and we will announce who's won the present. Who's won the trip to the stadium, trip to Wembley. So that'd be good. That would be very, very good. So let's say hello to a few people, guys. Thank you for joining. Here we go. So let's see who is on this evening. Welcome, Leo. Leo is in and moderating, so thank you for joining. I think I saw Leo had a pretty good week, actually, in the live chat. 70 odd something. 70. So some good scores knocking about, guys. Bryce is here. How are you doing, Bryce? I'm looking to go without a premium forward for game week 19 and 20.
Well, listen, topic of conversation.
Listen, that is a big topic of conversation, Bryce, and that's actually reminded me we've got a few questions actually in the polls tonight, guys. If you go and check out the eye in the top right-hand corner of your screen, hopefully you can see that little white eye. I'm still struggling to see it on my videos. I still don't know why, but if you've got the little white eye...
I'm actually struggling to see out my glasses. They're that
Give them a clean. Go on, give them a clean. They need a clean. However you guys can get to the polls, please do get to the polls. We've got 3 questions for this evening, and one is absolutely spot on with what Bryce is talking about there. A question that came in when I posted the please send me questions on the polls tweet earlier. Josh Telling, thank you for sending me a message. How many premium forwards should we have, Josh is saying? Should we have more than one? Josh. Should we go for one? Or should we just forget it altogether, as Bryce is looking to do, right? Just there's so much value there in that potential third striker slot, which is strange, because we've sat here most of the season talking about the death of the third striker. Now all of a sudden the third strikers are on vogue. They're in vogue. So, I mean, that is one of the questions that's come in from Josh. So thank you, Josh. And a sort of sister question to that comes in from @FPL Pilot. He's talking about which budget forward would you have then? So assuming that you're going to pile on one or two of these guys, who would you have out of these? Wilson, Ings, Rondon, Hernandez, Chicharito, or Jimenez? Who out of those 5 would you have right now? Pick one of those. And then Kun Karam, thank you, Kun, for sending this in. He has said the third poll question, which is Hazard or Salah for the next 4. So who would you go for out of those 2 premium players? And a lot of talk about the Salah assist, or Salah lack of assist, actually, in that Liverpool game. What's your view on it? You clearly think
well,
it was
I wanted
the
points, didn't I?
Clearly you think it's an assist, yeah. A lot going on Twitter at the moment about whether that's an assist or not. It's not an assist, guys. It's not an assist. I know if you're a Salah owner, you're upset that he's not got the point, but it's not an assist.
Sending your Christmas present back.
He basically tripped over the ball. So it's not an assist.
I don't care if it come off his eyelash.
It's not...
I don't care if it came off one little grey hair on his head. If he's touched it, it's an assist.
Right, okay. It's not an assist. So that's it, guys. Those are the polls for this evening. Go check them out. Go check out those questions, and we will have a look at those at the end of the show, at the end of the stream. Let's see who else is in. Vinyl Richie is here. Richard, how are you doing? Lionel Messi is here. Would you believe?
Goodness me.
Lionel Messi.
Actual Messi's in the house.
He says, hi, Sam.
Oh, hello.
Thanks for the Jimenez advice, Lionel Messi says. There
You're welcome, Messi.
You're welcome, Messi. Joe Finley Badder, how are you doing? He's saying, we did a win. We did a win. The Watford way. So Joe is very, very happy.
And I tell you what, Joe, didn't Arf score some nice goals?
Of course, some crackers.
Wowzers.
Absolute crackers.
I noticed
Brilliant.
he was there in the absolute tipping rain.
Oh, did he go? Did he go, Joe?
There was a little Insta post and I thought, oh, Joe, you must be soaked because it was a horrible day here on Saturday.
It was awful. But well done to Watford. 3 fantastic goals. Perhaps should have had a Deeney red card in that game. I don't want to upset Joe too much, but Deeney a little bit, potentially a bit lucky to be on the pitch.
Don't rain on his parade.
I don't. Well, literally, yeah, literally. Rishab is here. How are you doing, Rishab? FPL Dubs is here as ever. Thank you, FPL Dubs, for joining us. Shuvik is here. How are you doing, Shuvik? Shuvik, who's having a very good season, by the way. Very good season. We're following Shuvik on Twitter. He is right up there. Right up there. Not in the sort of Ryan Foley, Richard Nyquist level, but he's definitely on the sort of top 10 5k. So Shuvik having a very, very good season indeed. Karam is here. How are you doing? Eric Lord, Liam Rist is here. How are you? Captain's Pick is here. Jeff, who we met actually. We met Jeff. Didn't you remember Jeff? The guy with the amazing beard.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't drinking, remember?
No, I know. It's just he looked at me as if to say, I met so many people that night. I can't possibly remember.
No, I do remember. I had a selfie with Jeff.
Yeah. I'll tell you what we should do. So guys, thank you to everyone that's joined. Go and say hello to a few more people. Joe's here, Ryan's here, Sebastian Hansen, all of you guys are in. Carl Sagg said, thank you very much for joining. First and foremost, what we ought to do, and I think I queued this up earlier, on the left there's our Twitter, and what I'm going to try and do is try and find some of the pictures from the other night. Yeah, here we go.
There he is, there's Jeff.
So there is Jeff, there he is. So we had an absolutely awesome time, guys, an absolutely awesome time on, is it Friday or Saturday? Friday night. It was Friday night. Very, very good to put a few faces to FPL Twitter handles, wasn't it? Very, very nice indeed. Massive kudos to Tom from Who Got the Assist for setting that up, and I think he had help from Peter Blake as well at MathSafeFPL.
Especially for the food, Tom.
He cocked the food up, didn't he? No doubt about it. He cocked the food up. The food was actually very, very good. He had a little buffet putting out, but I don't think he ordered it. I think they just assumed that he was going to pay for this food, but I don't know what happened with the food. So either way, Tom, well done for organising an excellent night. Very, very good indeed. We should have a look at some of these pics. Really good. There's Aaron Boyle on the side there, and you guys can see a few of the handles. So get onto Twitter, get following these guys because they are top guys, and they offer some really, really good FPL advice as well. There's our friend Jeff at Captain's Pick Pod. So go and check out Jeff's Twitter handle there. There's at MathSafeFPL, who we mentioned before, LW, FPL Duke, a few of you guys that were in those picks. Who else we got here? A few of the other guys. There's Aaron again, Tom from Who Got the Assist. That's Peter. Didn't meet these two guys actually. But Peter's there as well. Who else we got here? Let's have a look. And there's Tom and Aaron. Aaron's pretty good at the old photo bombing, isn't he?
He took them all.
Is he? He's holding the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll let him off. And there's Tom and Nick in the middle. So listen, guys. That was a really, really good night down in Marylebone in London on Saturday night. So massive thank you to Tom for sorting that out. Really good.
Brilliant Tottenham jumpers on display that night.
Oh, yeah, FPL Chancellor, didn't he? Dan. We met Dan. Very, very lovely guy, Dan. Really, really nice guy. But oh my God, what was that jumper?
It was brilliant.
It was
the most amazing Christmas jumper I've ever seen.
It was a really cheesy Spurs jumper. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And you were in your element with that, weren't you?
Yeah, I've got to see if they do a pink one. If they do, I'm all over that.
Yeah, absolutely. So great jumper, Dan. We were loving that. And very nice to meet you, mate.
Should say Nick's jumper was very nice as well.
There was some brilliant Christmas jumpers on display, wasn't there?
There was a Christmas dinosaur as well, all sorts.
Yeah, it feels like you were paying quite a lot of attention to people's jumpers.
I wasn't drinking, so I was aware of what everyone was doing.
Very good. Very good. All right, let's get on with it. This is our Twitter at FPL Family. If you want to come and talk to me, check us out over there. Go follow us. Nearly at 10k, by the way. Nearly at 10k. Let's see if we can push that 10k for Christmas. That'd be good. We've got a week to do a couple of hundred followers. That's touch and go, isn't it? But for all you guys that are on here,
maybe by the new year you might have a chance.
Potentially, yeah. If you're not following us on Twitter, check us out at FPL Family on Twitter, at FPL Family on Instagram as well, where you can go and talk to Sam on Insta.
Facebook. I've been Facebooking.
And indeed the Facebook. So let's crack on with how we're getting on. This is my team, which we'll talk about a bit later on. But first and foremost, before all the ranks and what have you update, let's have a look at the games. And where better place to start, Sam? Where better place to start? Not Wembley, but at Anfield. What did you make of that game? And what did you make in particular of Salah's performance, by the way? Because, again, a big talking point, and we're sitting here and we had a lot of chat about Salah actually on Saturday night when we were out and about with the FPL community. Is he worth this money? And we've said it time in, time out, and there was a lot of questions that came on Twitter when I asked for poll questions. Is Salah worth the money? I feel like we've had that poll question every week, a million times, so I didn't do it again. But are you feeling like you want to stick or twist with Salah right now? What are you thinking?
I don't know. I feel very torn on the whole Salah issue, to be quite honest, because I watched that game and I've said a few times that for me, Liverpool play and Salah plays so much better when Shaqiri is on the pitch. So when Shaqiri wasn't starting today, that worried me.
Yeah.
Once Shaqiri was on, it was a different Liverpool team that were playing, and you looked more free flowing, you looked more attacking and aggressive, and that bodes well for Salah. There were a couple of opportunities that he should have done better with today, and Salah last season would have put them away.
Yeah. Do you think? I think he was largely anonymous in that game, to be honest with you. He didn't really get much of a kick. No. I thought they defended him pretty well. Although I will say that Firmino was very, very busy in and around that penalty area again. So again, he looked pretty good again. And when he plays well, we know the two wide guys tend to do well. But today, it was Mane that kind of took the plaudits again because he's got the goal. I think he got an assist as well. Probably some bonus points from what we can see on here.
No, I don't think anybody got any assists today.
Fabinho got an assist.
Fabinho
got an assist for Mane's goal. But actually, you're right. It was a goal for Mane. Alright, it wasn't an assist in FPL, but it was sort of an assist for Shaqiri's first goal, wasn't it? But nevertheless, 2 bonus points for Mane. So, what's that? 7, 8, 9 points? I mean, again, I kind of sit here and think, well, I've said it enough times. I think Mane covers Salah.
Yeah, but he didn't last week, did he?
Well, he didn't play, did he, in that Bournemouth game? He didn't play. So if Mane plays, there's no reason to suggest he doesn't get points maybe instead of Salah or maybe as well as Salah.
I just think if I'm having a Liverpool midfielder, I don't want Mane. I don't see this lasting the whole season with him. I'd rather have Salah than I would Mane.
Okay.
The bigger question, I think, for me is if I'm going Liverpool, would I rather have Shaqiri? And that's a question that I can't quite settle on yet. But then you've also got to look at, if I do sell Salah, and it was always my intention to, as we know, but I didn't do it this week on the basis of what happened in the last game week.
Sure.
Who am I swapping him for? And Hazard came off and iced his foot today. He's got a flag on the game at the moment, so I'm certainly not going to do anything because it would probably be Salah to Hazard realistically with the Chelsea fixtures. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know how I feel about. I'm more worried about not having Hazard than I am not having Sterling, to be honest.
Do you know what it feels like? And tell us what you think, guys, in the live chat. It feels like not only in midfield but also up top. It feels like it's harder than ever this season to decide and set on a particular strategy around premium players, right? It feels like, and I think one of you guys is saying it in the live chat here. I think Vinyl Richie might be saying it. 1 week Hazard is essential. The next minute he's a nightmare. He's maybe flagged with his foot a little bit. He keeps coming out talking about this bit of a problem he's got with his foot. So that kind of makes you not want to invest. And then he'll pop up with the goal and assist like he did today. So
it's really
this season, more than ever, I feel like it's really hard to go, right, well, these are my 2 premiums that I want, and this is the 1 premium I want up top, because we're all flip-flopping between Kane, Aubameyang, Aguero, I think, is going to come back into people's reckoning as well. And in midfield, you've got Salah, Mane, Hazard, Sterling, Sané now as well, who's shown a lot of consistency in that Manchester City team. So it's very, very difficult. Very difficult.
It's really tough. And I think, I look at the Liverpool team and I think, all right, the fixtures are a bit up and down, whereas the Chelsea fixtures are lovely. The
City fixtures are lovely as well, though, right?
The City, but then I've got Sané, and I'm happy with Sané.
So you think Sané covers Sterling?
Do I think he covers him? No, I'm not. I don't think I'd say he covers him. Okay. But I think for me, I'm more worried about not having Hazard, given how important he is to Chelsea, than I am about Sterling at the moment. That's how I feel. But then I've got this predicament with Salah, and it's like, well, do I kind of keep looking at Salah and thinking, he's got it in him to do what he did last week, and in an easier game than Man United, would that happen? I don't know.
So let's ask this question now then, because a lot of you guys are talking about it in the live chat. There's a couple of questions that resulted in the poll as well. So if you've just joined the live stream, check out the polls. There's a question about should we be loading onto the midfield now and forgetting about the premium forward slot because there's so much value in those forward slots potentially. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like going big on a Hazard, Sterling, Salah strategy and getting rid of a premium asset up top? And I know for you that's Kane, so no, you wouldn't really want to do that. But imagine you had like an Aubameyang. Would you want to downgrade Aubameyang and go for the 3 stroke even 4 maybe big hitters in the middle with and then maybe, I don't know, Chicharito, Ings and Success up top or something like that? Are you feeling that or not feeling that?
Every bit of the FPL part of me wants to go, no, this is ridiculous. Of course you need a premium striker. You know what you're doing. But then you look at the likes of Jimenez and Rondon and those
even
kind
Rondon, absolutely, yeah.
And you know, Ings now, he's played really well today, and all of those players that are in that sort of 5 to 6 or even to 7 bracket, really. Mitrovic, I suppose you could clump in there as well on a normal day.
Maybe.
And you look at those options and you think, you know, if I have 3 of you, then I'm spending 12 million. Well, that's Harry Kane. You know, so actually, if I then have all of that extra money additionally, where can I can deploy that far better.
You can have Hazard, Sterling, Salah, can't you?
In the midfield.
With probably Anderson and Fraser or something like that, right?
But my fear is that at the beginning of this season or early on in this season, we spent a lot of time talking about how, you know, you didn't need midfield, you didn't need these midfielders. What you really needed is to invest all your money in the defence. Now we're 3 months on, and now we're no longer talking about investing in the defence. People talking about getting off Alonso, getting on Doherty, and getting on all of these other slightly cheaper defensive options, and moving the money into midfield. And for me, it feels like a ticking time bomb before these forwards start.
Somebody's going to catch fire, right?
And the problem is then if you're going down too far in terms of that price bracket up top, it's a long way up. To get to one of those premiums when the one that does fire does. Okay,
listen, there's some good thoughts there. We've gone a little bit off course from the Liverpool game, but we'll get back on track in a minute. But I like that because I feel like it's a really important point right now in terms of how you're going to set up. What's your formation? We've talked about making sure you've got a strong bench over Christmas, and I think that sort of 3-5-2 strategy or maybe 4-5-1 even strategy allows you to do that, gives you that bench. So let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat, 'cause it's a really interesting and hot topic in FPL right now. Let's see. Micah McClatchy, thanks for joining, Mike. He's saying balance is key. Yeah, I think you're right. Let's see. Abdul is saying he's stupendously good value. I don't know who's talking about. Jimenez, I think, potentially.
Yeah.
Who Andrew Martin is saying points per million. Jimenez is a must. And
Absolutely
I'm tending to agree with you on that. Jimenez looks absolutely great value.
And I quite like this setup that I have at the moment with my 1 premium and my 2 cheap options, because Jimenez is great.
Okay, all right. Liam Rist is saying, never doubt Gabbiadini. There it is. There's Liam's weekly Gabbiadini shout. No points for Gabbiadini this week, Liam. But it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before Gabbiadini...
He's the premium, the one that's going to tick off.
He's not premium, or he's going to tick off. The Tesso is saying, an Aguero haul would change everything. It would, wouldn't it? It would.
Well, I think a haul from anyone would change it, to be honest.
Yeah, but we're all on Kane and or Aubameyang. Well, or Aubameyang, really. But if Aguero starts popping up, then it's like, well, that's not only an extra dimension because I'd want him back over maybe Aubameyang or Kane, but also do I have him as well as Sterling? And then it's like, oh, man, so...
Well, you can't because you've got 3 City anyway, so you'd have to make 2 transfers to do that.
Yeah, right. So the Tesso, I think you're spot on with that. If Aguero comes back and bangs a hat-trick against somebody, then... that's a whole new world of pain that I don't even want to think about. Let's see what else you guys are saying. So Klacko is saying, that's my plan, Lee. These forwards play every week. So he's looking at the 3 cheaper options up front and thinking that that's not a bad shout. Hakeem Bong is saying, never doubt Kane. Never doubt Kane. So there we go. Andrew McD, the Rondon song. I forgot about the Rondon song.
No, right.
I forgot about... Hey, that's a good shout, Andrew. I forgot about that.
Look, I said that one game week that I would sing if Rondon scored. Now, Rondon hasn't. Over Christmas, I might issue that statement again.
Wow, all right.
But not right now.
Andrew McD, thank you for reminding us about the Rondon song. I completely forgot about that.
It does still exist.
Completely forgotten about that. Let's see, what else are you saying? David Golick, thank you, David. He's saying people flip-flop too much every week. Yeah, I'm with you.
I totally agree on that.
It's hard not to do that, isn't it? It's hard not to do that. FPL Chancellor, Dan is here. Dan, how are you doing? Good evening. He's saying,
Dan.
Main thing is to own out of belief rather than fear. If you're buying Kane Aubameyang because of FOMO, That's a concern. So you've got to buy these players because you think they're going to haul, not because you're worried about what other people are going to do, which frankly is what I've been doing for the last 2 seasons, is worrying about what you're doing. So I need to listen to Dan and start buying with belief and with passion.
See, it's these Spurs fans, they talk logic.
Oh, God, dearie me.
Hiya, Dan.
Dearie me.
Dan with a brilliant jumper.
Dearie me. All right, well, let's final thoughts on the Liverpool game. Let's talk Manchester United for 2 seconds then. Looked a bit uninspired, particularly in that second half, as I said, when he decided he was going to shut up shop and not go for the game. Which, if I was a United fan, maybe I'd feel disappointed, but at the same time, maybe I'm being realistic about the opportunity to get a point out of the game rather than losing it. So, yeah, not really massively inspired to jump on any Manchester United assets as a result of that game. However, if you have a look at the fixture ticker, their next 4 games look absolutely sensational.
They do.
So as a Martial owner, I'm sticking with him. I'm being patient. I benched him this week because he's only coming back from injury, but I'm expecting that he might get a bit of game time in the Cup, if they're still in the Cup. Actually, don't know that. But he might get a bit of game time midweek to get up to match fitness. And then the next 4 games for Manchester United do look very, very good. So from an FPL perspective, as a Martial owner, I'm hoping that we get a bit of a reaction out of Martial in particular.
I find it really difficult with Man United because, I look at them from a completely neutral point of view. Sort of neutral point of view today, because obviously I was hoping for your sake that you won.
Yeah.
But I was watching Man United on the basis that I was kind of scouting them, if you like, because the fixtures do look good, and at the end of the day, it's Man United, right?
Yeah.
And they will at some stage come good. Now, I looked at them today.
Really?
Well, they must.
Okay.
I mean, they must. They're not. Look, we're not talking about a terrible team here. We're talking about a team of. There's quality players in that team. For whatever reason, Mourinho, they're not playing very well at the moment. But that won't last indefinitely. Something will change there. But for me, at the moment, watching them, there is nobody that I want to invest in from an FPL point of view. And I was sort of hoping that somebody would stand out today on the basis that they've got these nice fixtures going into.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be watching them on next week on the basis that, is somebody going to perform, so that I've still got 3 good fixtures from them to come after that.
Yeah, well, David Golick is agreeing with you. He's saying, I agree with Sam. Never trust Mourinho. He's learnt that from you, he says. He's learnt that from you. And as a Martial holder, I'm looking at those fixtures, and you can see them on the left there, guys, thanks to the FF Scout ticker. Cardiff, Huddersfield, Bournemouth, Newcastle before a trip to Wembley, which is clearly quite difficult. Or indeed a trip to the new White Hart Lane, depending on whether it's open or not.
It's been announced.
Is it going to be Wembley?
Yeah.
Okay. So Cardiff, Huddersfield, Bournemouth, Newcastle. Those next 4 fixtures for United. Goodness me, if they can't get back on track and win those games, then it's time to say goodbye. Cardiff and Huddersfield in particular. If we get nothing from Martial out of those 2 games, he is gone and never to darken my door again, I think. At the same time, I feel like I'm missing out on a very similar priced player in Felipe Anderson, who continues to do the business for West Ham. I must admit, I don't think we're going to see many teams defend as badly as Fulham did at the weekend. I mean, I knew they were bad, but they were really, 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 really bad.
The thing is with Fulham, and it baffles me still, and you nailed it last night when we were talking about this, but for a team that actually, when they go forward, look quite good, Fulham, like pushing up, they look all right. And you see, every time they concede a goal, there was that long shot back down the pitch, and Mitrovic was just stood there as if to say, what are you doing?
What is going on?
Like, how can you expect
That'd be
us?
so frustrating if you're Mitrovic. You're looking at that thinking, well, and actually from his perspective, he must feel under pressure now. Whenever he gets a chance, he must think, I've got to score this, because I know we're going to concede 6, so I've got to score. So that puts extra pressure on him, which is what he just doesn't need, right? He doesn't need that. So from a Fulham perspective, let's not talk FPL, because other than to say, whoever's playing Fulham, have a look.
Rondon. Get Rondon for next.
Well, I think it is Rondon next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's going to be Newcastle next week. So have a look at that, guys. But it's going to take Ranieri time, right? It's going to take him time to sort that Fulham team out, and they need to let him sort it out, because there's a lot to sort out.
Mostly Tim Ream.
Particularly Tim Ream. But let's talk West Ham, because they are far more of an FPL sort of team that we need to be looking at right now. The fixtures going forward are pretty good, I think, for West Ham. When I last looked, Watford, Southampton, Burnley, Brighton and Arsenal. So what's that? 3 at home in the next 5, and the away games are Southampton and Burnley. Now, that looks pretty good in terms of a fixture ticket, and their form looks pretty good in 2, including the new Brazilian on the wide right there. So Felipe Anderson, you must be very, very happy as
Delighted.
a Felipe Anderson owner. And I'm pretty, not upset, but I feel like I'm missing out on him by having Martial. And I feel like my loyalty towards Martial and the upcoming Manchester United fixtures needs to be repaid, because if not, then I've badly missed a bandwagon here with Felipe Anderson. I did, however, get Chicharito this week, which I felt covered, if that's the right word, the West Ham attacking assets. And
it did.
And it did.
Just didn't cover Danny Ings.
I won't mention that I took Danny Ings out to get him. Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like that move was justified. I mean, Danny Ings was coming back from injury. He's got a terrible injury record anyway. When he used to come back from injury when he was at Liverpool, he was never rushed back because he always used to get injured again pretty quickly afterwards. So on that basis, I thought, well, surely they're going to ease him in. Didn't. Just chucked him in and he did really well. Arsenal's goalkeeper was pretty poor in that game. But we'll talk about Southampton a bit later on. But Chicharito, I feel is a reasonable pick. I feel like he's a reasonable pick for the next few weeks. I feel like he can definitely cover the Felipe Anderson, if not do better, actually.
What I think is really interesting is the Snodgrass pick, because a lot of people that sort of have missed the Felipe Anderson bandwagon are now saying, well, actually, in terms of a fifth cheap midfielder, is it Snodgrass? And I think, last week I sort of went, yeah, it can't be, he can't consistently score goals and being on the... But actually, yet again this week...
He's got a bit of FPL pedigree though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He pops up with a few decent runs every now and again, yeah.
So, I think if you're thinking about... You feel like you've missed the Felipe Anderson bandwagon, or you can't quite afford him now because he's gone up quite a lot recently, then I don't think Snodgrass is a bad pick at all.
Okay, J-Boy is saying, I transferred Snodgrass in 3 weeks ago. Best move of my FPL career.
There you go.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Ibrahim Plazy is saying, I don't know about Snodgrass. Tom Gravgard is saying, happy with Anderson and Chica. Looks like he's doubled up on West Ham. How do you feel about the double up on any two of those three, actually? Anderson, Chicharito, or indeed Snodgrass. I happened to be quite impressed with Antonio at the weekend.
Yeah,
as well.
he looked good as well.
Quite impressed with him. I thought he put in a real shift there. Not that I would jump on him straight away, but the West Ham double up with those fixtures, bit of form. Is it on?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's any. I certainly wouldn't be going. Well, I was going to say I wouldn't be going for West Ham defensively, but I might go Fabianski of defensively. But I wouldn't go.
Hey, listen, Fabianski did all right the weekend, didn't he?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I meant I wouldn't go for one of the defenders rather than Fabianski. Okay. Leave him aside. I don't think I'd pick a West Ham defender.
Balbuena maybe is a cheapie. Is it under 4.5? I think.
Yeah.
No,
not really. But I
look of disgust on your face at Balbuena. He's a good pick.
Okay, yeah. But I'd be more. But a West Ham attacking double up, yeah, I certainly think that you could.
All right.
I could be persuaded into that for sure.
Okay, very, very good. Let's. So we've talked there a little bit about Fulham and how badly they defend. Let's talk about the bad defending on show at Southampton today. Not that Southampton were awful defensively, because I think the Arsenal goals. I think there was some deflections a few deflections in that game. But Arsenal were pretty bad, weren't they? Arsenal were pretty bad. And if you talk to... Certainly, I've got a lot of Arsenal fans where I work. So I obviously work in London. A lot of Arsenal fans in my office. A lot of them very underwhelmed throughout that 21-22 game run. And I remember thinking, 22 games without being beaten, you should be absolutely delighted. And a lot of them were like, oh yeah, but we've got a bit lucky here or there. And I just put it down to, general whinge-mongery of the average Arsenal fan, quite frankly.
Just Arsenal TV at it.
I just thought, the Arsenal fans, they've had to go through a lot of them in the last few years. But that game, I mean, Leno was bad. The defending wasn't that great. Particularly susceptible from crosses. And I thought Koscielny had a bad game. I know that he's coming back from injury. And they've got a lot of problems there at centre-half. And it kind of meant that they had to not rush Koscielny back, but he had to be thrown in the deep end a little bit. Looked very susceptible to crosses. Particularly that last one. Leno got completely caught under it for Long's goal. Was it Long or Austin? I actually don't know.
Austin.
Charlie Austin, sorry, yeah. So what did you make of the game? You think Arsenal assets we should continue to invest in these guys, particularly those of us with Aubameyang. A couple of blanks now. So, an assist last week, but a couple of not very good games.
I think he has been really disappointing, Aubameyang. And see, I don't know. I think we said before kickoff today, didn't we, when we were talking about this? If I was, and the team news came, just when the team news came out, if you were a Lacazette owner, you'd be really annoyed because you got him in a few weeks ago when they were playing together and it was all looking very positive and he was doing very well. And then recently, while the good fixtures have been kind of going, he's been benched a lot of the time. Now, He does always seem to come on and get something, so you can't be too disappointed with that. And he is that much cheaper. But if I had Aubameyang, I think I would be annoyed because that's 2 decent games, nothing, no returns for him. And you get them in, you get these players on the basis that when the fixtures are good, right? So, it is hard.
I feel like feel like his preferred system is one up top though.
Yeah.
I feel like his preferred system is that 3 up top there. And if he's going to put that one in the middle, he wants to pick the better of the two players. I think in his mind, and I think in mine as well, Aubameyang is the better of the two players.
Yeah,
it's close because Lacazette's a very good player. But I think he feels like Aubameyang is his man up top.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he likes having to force Lacazette into that spot up top, which pushes Aubameyang wide. So therefore, we're starting to see a bit of rotation with Lacazette. So if I was a Lacazette owner, you're right. I think you're right to be concerned about that. If I was an Aubameyang owner, I think I'd take some comfort in the fact that I think he sees him as the main man. A lot of you guys are saying in the live chat that he was unlucky. He did miss a lot of chances.
Yeah,
so
he did.
He was at least in those positions and areas to get them. It was a bit wasteful, no doubt. But he is top for XG underachievers this week. So at minus 0.71. So again, XG, love it or hate it. I happen to think it's quite good. So
the thing
potentially he's a bit unlucky. He's in the right positions and getting the right. He's doing all the right things to get FPL points, but just hasn't got them this week. I
think sometimes you get on these players on the basis that they've got a decent run of fixtures, like you were just saying with Martial. You stick with him because the fixtures look good. So that's the reason you got on Aubameyang, because the fixtures look good.
Yeah.
You don't kind of.
Huddersfield and Southampton, you're thinking there's points there.
Yeah.
And he's got an assist out of 2 games. It's really disappointing.
But the fixtures still look good moving forward. So I don't think that you can kind of get off of him on the basis that he's had 2 disappointing game weeks.
Is it Burnley at home next?
Yeah.
God, goodness me, I didn't spot that. So Burnley, Brighton, then it's obviously difficult at Liverpool. And then Fulham and West Ham. So 3 of those next 4. Although Brighton away is no gimme, actually. Brighton are not too bad at home despite the defeat today. But Burnley and Fulham in the next 4, particularly that Burnley game, I mean, that's captainable, Aubameyang, isn't it? Not just keeping.
Well, and this is the thing. I just think you can't just decide that they've always had a disappointing game today, but he did miss a lot of chances. He was wasteful, but that from an FPL point of view, although frustrating in terms of game week 17, should suggest that game week 18, the opportunities for him will be there.
Okay, let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat about Aubameyang. John Chappell is saying, where did you go, John? I've moved the thing and it's not. Oh, there we go. Aubameyang should have had a hat trick. Yes, potentially. James Morgan, taking out Aubameyang with the fixture he has is mental. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So I hadn't spotted that actually. But Burnley at home next. I mean, goodness me, you can't take him out before that, can you? If anything, you're thinking about captaining him. Arsenal 37 goals, Liverpool 37 goals. Aubameyang will come good, but stay away from the defence, says Arvi Svardal. Thank you, Arvi, and I think you're spot on. Shame for Kolasinac owners. Neither of us own Kolasinac, but a bench in this week, which is a bit of a bummer actually. Actually, not even a bench.
No,
he
missed out altogether, didn't he?
He didn't even travel. So I think there was some tightness.
Did you say something about his tightness in his thigh or something?
Tightness in his thigh or something, guys. So you guys might know more than we do, but I think there was a report being tightness in his thigh. So if you are a Kolasinac owner, tell us what you're going to do. If I was on him, I'm not sure I'd get him in the first place, actually, given what Arvy's saying about Arsenal defence. But if you've got him, I think probably you hold on to him with Burnley and Brighton coming up next.
I don't think you can get off any Arsenal assets with those fixtures.
Right. I think you're right. FPL 2 Guys 1 Cup, who we also met on Saturday. Yeah. We also met the guys.
He was lovely.
Very nice guys. Very nice guys. So if you guys haven't checked out 2 Guys 1 Cup, the podcast yet, get into Twitter and go search for those guys. A very, very good pod. He's saying Aubameyang doesn't feel like value for money, similar to Kane. I think I like the comparison with Kane. I feel like there's a better comparison between him and Hazard. I feel like Aubameyang and Hazard are like 1 week must-haves, the next week complete duffers. I just can't work out whether... And if I'm not careful, I'm just going to flip-flop between all of these big premium assets the whole season. I feel like with the fixtures coming up, you've got to stick with Aubameyang. You've got to, with Burnley at home coming up next. You've got to stick with him.
I just think you can't... With the trouble with FPL is you can't just chase the points by moving him on. I mean, who are you going to move him on to?
Yeah.
We don't yet know in terms of Aguero coming back. We don't know where that he's going to be. Kane, we know that he's not on form at the moment. So where are you going to go with this? Unless you're going to make 2 transfers, you know.
Well, based on current form, you go Hazard, as Josh Selling is saying.
But then
Hazard been killing it the last few weeks, so you go Hazard, and then he blanks for a couple of games, and it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Talking of big hitters, let's talk Man City very, very briefly because, again, their assets doing the business. Gabriel Jesus back in the goals with a couple of goals. I think his first 2 of the season, or has he got one before that? It can't be his first 2. I don't know. Whether they are or not, it's his first 2 for a very long time. Sterling benched for that game, but then comes on and scores within about 90 seconds.
First touch, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
With his first touch. So as a Sterling owner, I'm very happy that happened. And I also captained Sterling, so the benching was obviously disappointing. But when I saw that he was coming on, I was kind of glad that at least he was coming on with half an hour to go and not with 10 minutes to go. That would be really annoying. But with half an hour to go, I did feel like he could come on and influence the game, particularly as it was 2-1 at the time and Everton got attacked.
Yep.
I felt he could get something in this game, and he did. He's now had a rest, which is good. I wouldn't expect that he's going to play in the Carabao Cup during the week. So it's all guns blazing, I think, for Man City's next game, which is Crystal Palace at home.
Let's just talk about KDB, because KDB is back.
Go on, yeah.
So
another option for us to
another pondering.
Yeah.
So KDB, obviously, I think I can't see that he plays midweek. Well, maybe he does actually. Maybe he gets to run midweek just to get some match fitness, or at least some minutes midweek.
It's frightening that City have been as good as they have been without him. I mean, their bench at the weekend was
ridiculous.
Aguero, Sterling, and KDB. I mean, strength in depth is unreal.
But I think from an FPL point of view, we've always said that KDB is beyond. He's rotation proof in terms of Pep's midfield. So I think that he just throws another kind of curveball in the works, if you like, because we've all so far been talking about Sané and Sterling as the midfield options of choice for Man City since Mendy's injury. But actually, for me, if KDB's back.
Well, Leo is actually saying in the live chat that KDB starts midweek. Pep has said that in a press conference. I missed that actually. So Leo is saying KDB is going to get some minutes during the week, so that's good. He's going to be match fit any minute now, and therefore he's going to be another option for us in that midfield, as is, of course, Leroy Sané. Now, I feel like you've got the golden touch with these transfers last few weeks, because you bought Sané in a couple of weeks ago, and he's just returning back-to-back games for you. So, do you feel like, maybe I've asked you the question already, do you feel like he covers Sterling, or do you think it's overkill having both?
Well, I don't think it's overkill having two City, but I think for me, with City assets, they tend to, 1 week it's one of them, then it's another one, and there's so many good players at City that it's very difficult for them to consistently score points every single week.
Sure.
So I don't know, and I also kind of look at the other options that are available in that midfield bracket, the likes of, we've talked already about Hazard, but there are, and Felipe Anderson we've already mentioned, and there are a fair few in there in the midfield bracket that I really like the look of, and actually taking up two of those spots with City feels a little bit too much, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I'm really keeping a very, very close eye on KDB, because actually if it came to a choice of wanting Sterling or KDB, I think I'd rather have KDB.
Okay.
If he's fit.
All right. Mike is saying KDB definitely makes City's wingers better options. So I think KDB makes any team and any option better when he comes back. He's just that good a player. For me, I'm on Sterling and Sané right now, and I'm pretty happy with that.
And you've got Laporte as well, right? So are you finally in my camp of being annoyed with your Man City defensive assets? Because I've lost the plot with Ederson. I've totally lost the plot with him.
I am. I feel like this odd goal that they keep conceding every single week is really annoying me. You could more or less nail on the clean sheet at home for City in the first third of the season. And then the last few game weeks, a few game weeks back, if you remember, it was Ederson, screwed up with a couple of dodgy penalties that he gave away, and you think, well, you're not going to make those mistakes every week. And all right, he's cut out those mistakes, but it's not stopping the goals coming. These teams seem to be getting a goal or a goal at the Etihad. So, yes, it's a concern. It's a concern. I've got Laporte. He's 5.9. I think I bought him for. I think he might even be 6 in the game now. Ederson's probably around that sort of level as well, at sort of 5.8, 5.9, maybe 6. So it's getting more and more difficult to justify having that Man City defender in there. But as soon as you take them out, they're going to start getting clean sheets.
I think I said a couple of weeks back, or it might have been last week, that I'd lost the plot with Ederson, and everybody was like, you can't transfer out Ederson, I'll take him off your hands, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I have lost it with him. Every single week of late, it's stupid mistake or just a soft goal that they're conceding, and it's starting to really annoy me, because a lot of my money is taken up with Ederson, and I could go on the cheaper rotating keeper option, and every week one of those rotating keeper options keeps a clean sheet and does well. This week Fabianski was excellent, even likes of Lloris kept a clean sheet, and we've got some nice fixtures coming up. So
And FPL Classico is saying, yeah, Man City conceding all the time sucks. Why do I even own Ederson, he's saying.
And this is how I feel. I feel really irritated by Ederson. Even his face irritates me at the moment. Just look at him.
Why?
Because I look at him and I'm like, what is your problem? Why can you not? You've got one job. One job is to stand in the net and keep it clear. Why can you not do that?
You can't say, but his face really annoys me. Why?
Because at the moment it is, because he's annoying me. It didn't when he was keeping clean sheets, but now, so just stand on your line and make a save, man. Okay. What is wrong with you?
Well, I think actually Hannah actually agrees with you. So Hannah's saying some of the goals City have conceded of late have been silly, mostly Ederson mistakes.
Exactly, Hannah.
They'll start keeping clean sheets again soon. Brackets, I hope.
Well, they'll start getting clean sheets as soon as I take him out. You know that'll happen.
J-Boy's saying, I just can't bring myself to bench Ederson for Fabianski. I don't know why. So if you were thinking of ditching Ederson, who would you go with?
Anyone else.
Anyone else?
No, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I do...
Lionel Messi, by the way, is saying Sam has no chills. I love that his name's Lionel Messi.
Oh, I love him. I don't know. There's some real good options out there. You know, I've also got the problem with Ryan going off to the Asia Cup in January, so I've got him to deal with as well. But you know,
Fabianski 9 points this week.
There's Fabianski. I could even look at. I know I made a stupid mistake today, but Alisson at Liverpool's been really, really solid this season. Kepa at Chelsea looks good, and the fixtures are good. So yeah, there's loads of options out there. So yeah, Ederson, he is on his last legs. I tell you that, man.
Last legs for Ederson, and last legs I think for Laporte as well. I'm getting more and more interested in the likes of Digne, who I thought played well in that game, got an assist, also picked up a booking, but was top for bonus points from an Everton perspective in that game. So liking the look of Digne, as I did a few weeks ago and didn't get him. I got Laporte instead, and that seems to have been a bit of a bad decision.
That made me laugh, that comment about Mendy.
What's that?
Can
we get Lee to say that Mendy was drinking again, as this will make the podcast complete? Thanks, Starkey56. Yeah, no, we haven't had much to say about Mendy in recent times.
I haven't seen him. Where even is he? Is he still in hospital?
Don't know. Absolutely no idea. But listen, we're rapidly running out of time. We've got a few games to cover still left to go. Let's go and talk about one of the jammiest last-minute goals you'll ever see, scuffed off the inside of his foot. Spurs 1, Burnley 0.
What are you talking about?
Christian Eriksen popping up in the very, very dying embers of a game that Burnley did very, very well. And I watched match today. Burnley were very organised. They played very, very well.
And we were very unlucky.
You did create a lot of chances, I'll give you that. You definitely created a lot of chances, but actually not for Harry Kane. Harry Kane didn't have a lot of shots, didn't have a lot of chances in that game.
Well, I saw at least a hat-trick's worth of chances.
Oh, goodness me. So, in the least biased way possible, because Varane is saying Spurs were awful, and Starkey56 is saying, go Eriksen. I've got him and Kane, he says. He's doubled up. Tom Gravgard, Spurs were not great. Hakeem Bong, Kane needs Eriksen.
What have I been saying for the last 20 years on this stream?
You're getting on your high horse a lot tonight. The voice is going very high. It's gone up a whole octave lately. Bring it back down a bit.
Eriksen is vital.
That's better.
Vital.
He is massively important to that side.
He is vital. And when the team news comes out and Eriksen is not playing, it is a massive problem.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So talk me through it then. Why weren't you able to smash Burnley? Burnley that have conceded 330 shots on their goal at some stage before that Spurs game. Only 1-0 and just squeaked past them. What was going on there? Was it a Barcelona hangover?
Well, apparently,
was it the way you set up, or what was it?
I think it was a bit of both, to be honest. I think when we set up, we set up strangely at the back with both Davis and Rose on the pitch. No Vertonghen, no Dyer. So it felt a bit, and with Dembele out as well, I think there was a bit of a kind of a concern with that defensive unit, who actually did very well. And I think the team as a whole were a little bit more focused on defending than they were. You know, we had some good chances going forward where we should have made more of them than we did.
Most shots for Spurs in that game was Lamela, by the way.
Yeah.
So Lamela, and he was 4th for XG underachievers. So in terms of threat, I think he was the one.
Yeah,
he was the one that appeared to be that looked sort of most likely to pick up some FPL points. I happen to think that we went back to the Spurs of old, right? We had no Eriksen, we had no Son. So I think when you take those two out, Kane does two things. He drops deep to compensate for the lack of creativity from Eriksen, and he floats wide to compensate for the lack of Son. So he goes into this sort of weird triangle.
And Moura
whereas if he's got those two players playing, and because of that, because he's dropping into those areas, Moura gets forward.
Sure.
But when Moura doesn't play and he plays the more old school, the Eriksen and the Son, Kane trusts that he's got those players there, and we get more from him. So I can't believe that I see that and Poch doesn't.
No, I think Poch does. I think Poch does realise that, but I think
is Eriksen's abdominal problem still haunting him? Is this still a thing?
I think that look, Eriksen plays every week unless there's an issue. Now, the fact that Eriksen isn't playing every week, to me, suggests that there is still an underlying, not necessarily a big problem, but something that says, actually, do you know what, you've played, because he did play, obviously, Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
So, maybe this game just came a bit too quickly for him and he didn't have 90 minutes in him. He came on, he made a big difference. And you saw, as soon as Eriksen came on the pitch, the way that Spurs played was entirely different. And it was the same when Son came on. With Son, and I said it all last week, I felt he was going to get a rest this week. And it was not a surprise to me that happens. And with Son moving forward, we've only got a few more game weeks with him before he goes off and plays in the Asia Cup. So we've got to start learning. And these other players, the likes of Lamela, they've got to be given the game time so that they're ready to play there when Son's gone. Okay.
So Dan is saying, FPL Chance is saying, we never do have the rocket boosters on after a Champions League match.
And that's true.
Let alone against the Burnley side, who had two players booked for time wasting. So Burnley, for their part in that game, and let's not dwell on it because I don't think any of us are really considering Burnley FPL assets, but they did do a very good job of wasting time and trying to grind out a point and getting a 0-0. They're in a dogfight, Burnley now. They're in a dogfight. They need every point they can get. So a 0-0 at Spurs would have been fabulous.
And Dan is absolutely 100% right. And if you look back at Spurs after a Champions League game last season, we used to lose those games. We used to always lose off the back of a Champions League game. So the fact that we've won 1-0 against Burnley, all right, from an FPL point of view, it is not what we wanted.
Absolutely.
However,
take the win
from
and
a
move
Spurs
on.
point of view, you absolutely take that.
Take the win and move on. All right, last couple of games. Watford versus Cardiff. 42 seconds on the Watford side. Three very, very good goals.
Amazing goals.
Very, very good goals. As a Foster owner, I was deeply disappointed by the Hoylett goal. Cardiff have got two there, but actually Watford strolled that game up to about the 75th minute or whenever it was that Hoylett scored. And Hoylett just picks it up and scores. An absolute blinder, guys. That goal was... if you haven't seen it, go and check that goal out. It was awesome. And then because of that, I think... Cardiff got the towels off a bit and went and got the second, and then Watford were just like, hold on, let's get behind the ball and actually defend it for a bit, and they saw it out 3-2. So without that Hoylett wonder goal, I foresee a 7 or maybe even an 8-pointer for Ben Foster. As it is, got the 1, which I'll stick with. So any thoughts on the game outside of the 3 amazing goals from particularly that Deulofeu goal? Took that very well, didn't he?
I think Deulofeu is the one to talk about, really. I look at Watford and I've got success at the moment, but basically because he's cheap rather than because I expect him to do anything. But I look at Deulofeu and I really think that this guy is a real talent. And from an FPL point of view, I think he could be a really good 4th or 5th midfielder. Particularly if you're talking about going cheaper up top as well. He could be a real good way of getting to those bigger hitters all across the middle.
Sure.
I really like Deulofeu. He was my jammy pick a few weeks back, and since then he's been really promising. So
okay, very good. And third for shots this game week was Pereira as well. So he was banging them in as well without actually getting any FPL points. Holebas as well, who is a pretty cheap defender actually. I don't think he's cost that much in that Watford side, but we know he's good at set pieces. We know he can get an assist or two, but actually popped up with a worldie of a strike and got the goal. So lots to consider there from a Watford perspective. Let's have a quick look at their fixtures to see if we should invest. And it's West Ham away next, so a tricky game. Chelsea and Newcastle at home, Bournemouth and Palace. So with Watford away and Chelsea at home next, I think you probably just want to keep a watching brief and start scouting the Pereiras and the Holobases and the Decora and the who do you mention? Deulofeu. Ahead of potentially game week 20 with Newcastle at home, and the fixtures start looking a little bit better. So maybe hold fire on Watford just for now. Let's talk about Wolves-Bournemouth, the last game that we're going to talk about. Matty Doherty doing the business again with a clean sheet, so happy days there. But Jimenez is proving to be absolutely exceptional value in that front line at Wolves at 5 point, whatever he is, 5.5, 5.6, don't even know his price.
He's up now, he's 6 now, isn't he?
He probably is up in the 6s. It wouldn't surprise me if he is. a very, very good game by the young man again. And to be fair to him, seems to be putting in performances week in, week out.
He's a hero to me, that man. He's an absolute hero to me. He's doing things that my 12.5 striker
100%.
and my 13 million midfielder cannot do.
I think I remember saying to somebody, or someone on the live chat said about Jimenez being 10 points behind Harry Kane, right, but at half the price. So he's absolutely up there in terms of options. Diego Jota with another assist in that game. So he's starting to show a little bit of form now. A lot of pre-season hype about Diego Jota, but appears to be coming to the fore a little bit. The Wolves fixtures, I don't think look that great. It's Liverpool, then Fulham, Spurs, Palace and Man City. So it's a bit of a roller coaster. If you fancy them in that Fulham and Crystal Palace game, which I guess you would, you've got to put up with Liverpool, Tottenham and Man City around them. So I don't think it's double up time if you're thinking about two defenders, and I know a lot of people will still be on two Wolves defenders. But if you're having a look at Jimenez, have a look at the Jota situation. A lot of you guys quite rightly are saying that in the live chat that he's injured. So I think he picked up a bit of a knock. I don't know if you guys know the extent of that. I don't. So let's have a look at that. Keep your eye on that Jota injury. If it's bad, then yeah, don't invest. But one to keep an eye on.
The other thing is you've only got to remember back to the Spurs Wolves game earlier on in the season when Wolves Jimenez got more points in that game, didn't he? 12 points or something got in that game. So just because they've got a tough game, in terms of the attacking players, particularly Jimenez, does not necessarily mean that they won't score you for FPL points.
Yeah.
I'd be a bit wary of playing him next week against Liverpool because they just don't really ship goals, Liverpool.
No, but I think Johnny adds something to that Wolves side as well. I think we're going to start seeing more clean sheets now that he's back. They look far. What it is, I haven't got my head around it. I've watched enough of them in any detail yet, but it feels like Johnny adds something to that team that Vinagre doesn't. So I like the fact he's back from a Doherty perspective and a Wolves clean sheet perspective. Looks very good. I did say that was the last game, but we haven't discussed Chelsea, and one of the key talking points, as well as Mr. Howard, which we I think have debated a bit already in terms of if you've got him, I think you've got to stick with him. If you want to bring him in, think about it as a long-term thing because flip-flopping around him is just not going to work. But give me your thoughts on Alonso. I've said for a few weeks I'm getting more and more annoyed with Alonso and his lack of returns. Well, now he's lacking clean sheets a little bit as well, and I keep thinking to myself he's one of the highest scoring players in the game. How can you get rid of him? The fixtures look great for Chelsea going forward. I just know, and it was this time last year I took him out for Christensen. If I do the same and bring in David Luiz this year, I know what's going to happen. I absolutely know what's going to happen. Thoughts on Alonso? What are you thinking?
I said, didn't I, on the FPL show, whenever that was, Thursday. For me, getting rid of Alonso is potentially FPL suicide, given the Chelsea fixtures. Now, I know that he's expensive, but he will keep clean sheets. And, particularly over the next 4 game weeks or so that they've got coming up. And he will get attacking returns. Hit the post today. I think he was a bit unlucky. For me, you get him out, you get off of him. The way his ownership is, if he then returns, you are, as you learnt last season, struggling.
Well, let's see what you guys are saying.
The only caveat I'll add to that is David Luiz, who he's a lot cheaper and will cover the clean sheets and maybe. But
okay, well, Leo is saying not great underlying stats lately for Alonso. Varane is saying, as you said, his ownership is too high. So if you get rid of him, be prepared to take a bit of a rank hit if he does well, if he does score some points. Ian Anderson is also, Alonso got lucky not seeing red in his opinion, so I haven't seen any highlights of that game yet. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Vinyl Richie, as you said quite rightly, Alonso hit the post with a wonder strike 2 minutes before we conceded, so actually it could have been a very, very different discussion if that goes in. Right, if that goes in, we're talking about potentially a clean sheet as well.
Yeah.
And a 12, 13, 14 pointer. So those are the margins we're working with here. Keep Alonso. Hakeem is saying he's unlucky not to score. One of the comments here, just from L, so type your full name L if you want to, but from L, 44% of Alonso's points came in the first 4 game weeks. Yeah, so he did great at the beginning of the season, got a ton of points. But actually, of late, it's been a bit hit and miss to say the least, and the clean sheets have kind of been ticking him along. But I'm wondering if it's about time to move him on. I don't think it is yet, given that we've got some absolutely fantastic fixtures at Chelsea coming up. Leicester, Watford, Palace, Southampton, Newcastle. I mean, there's all blue there on the FF Scout ticker, so there's nothing there that would make me think, oh, I've got to sell him immediately, right? Unless I really needed the money for something in midfield or up top. So right now, I think with those fixtures, I want to keep. I want to keep.
I do too.
Cool. All right, let's have a look at how our teams got on. Guys, let us know in the live chat if the overall ranks and what all that sort of stuff is updated. Let's have a look at my team first. It was a weekend of two halves, actually.
That overall rank just changed.
Yeah, so it was a weekend of two halves, guys. I actually did pretty well on Saturday. I was pretty happy with Saturday. And then today was just rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So I've got 52 points. A game week rank of 1.3 million, which is pretty average, to say the least, I think. The average was 43, so okay, it's not so bad. But Saturday was good. Sterling captain in the end came in. Sané was good, Doherty was good, and Jimenez was good too, as well as a little assist from Chicharito. And then today it just went all horribly wrong. I had Aubameyang, Robertson and Alonso all playing that got 2, 2 and 1. So it was a real weekend of two halves, guys. It really was. I think my game week rank was something like 170k at the end of yesterday, my game week rank. So to see it be at 1.3 is a bit disappointing, but nevertheless, a green arrow is a green arrow, so I'm absolutely going to take that. I've gone up from, I think, 120 odd K, I'd slipped all the way down there, to just outside the top 100k now, so 101, which is still, listen, it's not where I want to be, but, given I didn't have Salah last week, and, I haven't had a captain haul for a long time, doesn't feel like I've had a captain haul for ages. So 101, I'm just about okay with it. Looks like I've gone through in the cup as well. Let's have a look at this dude and how he's getting on. 40. So yeah, looks like I'm through in the cup, so happy days.
Yes!
Not doing my usual first game week out, which normally happens. So there it is, guys. There it is, 52. And I think the team is not looking too bad for next week, actually. I don't think it's looking too bad. Let's have a look at this. So the three City assets you're going to play, right? Fraser's got a nice fixture. Benching, this is my bus team, so benching my Wolves players, which might come back to haunt me. Martial, I've got to stick with him. I've shown some faith, so he's got to play. Chicharito at home to Watford. I need to do something with my keepers. Keepers is a problem right now. Foster's got West Ham away. Don't back him for a clean sheet there. And Ryan, I don't back him for a clean sheet at Bournemouth. And he's going to the Asia Games or the Asia Cup, whatever it is, in a few weeks. So Ryan to Fabianski looks like it could be a good pick.
Yeah.
And then Aubameyang at home to Burnley. Clearly I'm keeping. So the captaincy I think is going to be between Sterling and Aubameyang. But more on that later in the week. Let's have a look at your team.
Should we play Snap?
Oh, 52 as well. Well, there we go. 52. Super. All right. Exactly the same score. Talk us through it.
Yeah. So
no overhead kick for Torreira this week. What a shame.
No, but he's not going to score one of them again, is he ever?
Maybe. Who knows?
I think, yeah, it's pretty much the same story as you. Today was just a massive disappointment. Alonso, Robertson, Torreira, Salah, blanks.
Yeah.
Not ideal. Jimenez, hero. Doherty, hero. Felipe Anderson, bit of a hero. Sané, bit of a hero. Kane, legend. Ederson, get out of my team, you nightmare. Wan-Bissaka on my bench hurts.
Okay, all right, 52, so not too bad. Let's have a look at your cup performance. Did you get through?
It's a little red arrow on my overall rank.
Looks like you got through in the cup, so happy days. Through to the next round.
That must be the tiniest little red arrow ever, because I was at...
You look like you're going up in most of your leagues.
Yeah,
overall, down to 22. Okay.
But I was at 22. I was at 22.1, so it's 300 places.
So it's a grey dot then. It's a grey dot. It's not a green or a red arrow. It's a grey dot.
Well,
You've more or less stayed where you are.
It's 300 places down, isn't it? But yeah, it is
tiny red arrow. But it's
that's
looking,
okay.
It's looking
but
fine.
I've got 2 free transfers for next week now.
Oh, okay, all right. Any early thoughts on what you might do with those?
Oh, I wonder. Ederson.
He's going, is he?
No, probably not against Palace, but I don't know yet. I'm pondering.
Okay.
Pondering. Lots of pondering to do this week, I think.
Lots of pondering. So get onto @FPL Family on Instagram if you want more of Sam's pondering throughout the week. Let's go and see if the leagues are updated. Your overall rank 22k, by the way. Very, very good indeed. Let's have a look at...
I'm so pleased to be through in the cup.
To be fair, you normally crash and burn out in the first round of the cup.
If you remember last year on a bit of a run, and I stayed in for 6 rounds last year. Yeah. Okay. But normally I'm out in the first round.
I was just on Twitter a second ago, and FPL Holly, Holly runs at FF Community. If you're not checking out Holly, go check her out. She's going out the cup to some 4.5 million ghost team that have got some random Shaqiri or something, captain or something. I don't know. She's been very, very unlucky.
That's unlucky.
Because her overall rank is something like 6k.
Yeah,
she's absolutely
doing really
smashing
well.
it. Absolutely
but the baby's coming soon. Wait for the sleepless nights.
Oh, that's it. It's all
go
red
to pot,
arrows.
then.
Red arrows when the babies arrive, Holly. Sorry to tell you, but that's what happens.
I hope she's gonna. If it's a boy, I hope it's gonna be called Harry after Harry Kane.
Why would she do that?
Because he's
not even a Spurs fan, is she?
Well, no, but he's a legend, isn't he?
Oh, for goodness sake. That's a terrible idea.
Should have called one of ours Harry, really.
League tables are still being recalculated. So let's have a look at this. I don't know whether this is completely up to date, but Viali Wright, who I think was in the live chat earlier, actually. So Viali, if you're there, give us a shout. 68 points this week with the man, the myth, the legend, Fabianski between the sticks. Very, very good score indeed this game week. Over rank of 2.5, which is frankly outrageous. Top of the FPL Family Christmas Present League. However, not a UK manager, not an England manager. So, Liam Rist, he of Gabbiadini fame, is up in second. This can't be true.
Has he got Gabbiadini?
This can't be right. Liam, you have an absolute stormer, mate. Brilliant.
He hasn't even got Gabbiadini.
Hasn't even got Gabbiadini. How disappointing.
Liam,
how disappointing. Overall rank 4.3k. Very, very good. Game week rank of 686 of 58 points, which is not bad at all. Very, very good. So, Liam is currently leading, I think.
There he is.
There he is. Don't touch my screen.
Ooh.
You've touched my screen now, so all hell's broken loose now. Here we go. So touch screen. Don't touch it, because you could do this. Like, you could do all sorts of... Whoa, don't do all that sort of stuff. So hopefully that's not gone too crazy in the OBS. So
why is it every time I touch it, it breaks?
I don't know. You just need to stay away from the technology. Just stay away from it. So, Viali is here. You're right, Viali. You're welcome. I'm from the Caribbean island of St Vincent and Grenadines.
Oh, wow.
What would you give to be there right now? Wow, how many degrees was it today outside and raining? 4? 5?
If that.
4 or 5 degrees and rain. Classic British wintertime weather. So, the Caribbean island of Viali, that sounds absolutely awesome. So, unfortunately, not legible to get the stadium tour around Wembley because not an England manager, but we'll get plaudit after plaudit if you are top of that FPL Family Christmas Present.
But Liam
League
is here, isn't he?
This time next week. But Liam, I think, is here as well and is the top English manager right now. But it is close. It is close because Glyn McBride is also an English manager. 59 points, 2.9%, 2.9k overall rank, which is very, very good. A bit of a questionable kit. Not going to mention that at all, but
I like the orange socks,
to say the least. Colourful. 59 points. So is that? I mean, that's pretty tight. That's pretty tight. Liam's 265, Glyn's 262.
It's going down to the final wire.
He's going down to the last day. And Mario, who's also an UK English manager, 16k overall rank, which is very, very good. He is sitting at 262 also, and Bobby Cole also sitting at 262. So to say that Liam has got a slender lead is putting it mildly. Absolutely putting it mildly. So Liam is, congratulations, Liam. You are top of that league right now, which is a very, very good place to be. Top English manager, I should say. Let's see if Liam... It'd be nice if Liam got it, actually, because he's here week in, week out, isn't he, with his Gabbiadini? Would love to give you the prize, Liam. So make sure you have a good game week next week.
Where's Josh?
Let's see, because Josh was flying high last time, wasn't he? Let's see. Oh, I'm having to scroll.
There he is.
I'm
he's there.
Scroll down.
I won't touch it, but...
Don't touch the screen.
But he's had Hazard today, so that'll help him.
Okay, 57. Hazard. Overall rank 31. And in this league, he is 259. So listen, that's 6. That's only a goal. That's a goal from any player, pretty much, away from being... So all to play for, guys. All
it's
to
so
play
close.
For, which is absolutely sensational. It's going to go down to the wire. And this time next week... Make sure you're all here because we'll be announcing which one of those guys might not be any of those guys. Might be someone come out of the blue, right? Who knows?
I think they're saying that the leagues aren't up to date because Josh is saying that he's in 7th, but he's got Hazard, so he should go up.
Ah, right, okay. Well, listen.
Ooh, it's all close.
It's close, guys. It's close. Regardless of what this might say, it's close. I will do a post on Twitter a bit later on where I do a screenshot of maybe the top sort of 5 or 6 managers so that you can see what's happened once it's updated. But the overall message to take, it is close, so we'll go down to the wire. I don't know what we're going to do next Sunday if it's not updated by the end of the stream. We're going to have to stay on, aren't we? Until it's updated.
We'll just sit here.
Just sit here twiddling our thumbs in silence until it updates.
I mean, we're going to look a bit. We're going to look a bit. I mean, it's going to be like one of those nights where we can't close the stream, isn't it? And we just sit here like twiddling our thumbs.
Might have to start at like 8:30 or something. And then do like 8:30 till 9:30, so we know it's going to be updated.
Well, we might have to
do something.
And to be honest, we're going to be late home anyway, aren't we? Because of we're being away, so
something like that.
We might have to.
But that's going to be the 23rd of December, so we should get it'd be great fun. Be in a proper Christmas mood by then. We'll get a couple of hats or something, shall we?
No, we'll wear our Christmas jumpers.
Christmas jumpers. You haven't got an FPL chance to style Spurs Christmas jumper hiding up there, have you?
Well, not yet, but I might have.
Oh goodness me!
Goodness
me!
I'm going to have a look afterwards and see if I can get a Spurs one.
So guys,
otherwise, I'm wearing my Stitch jumper.
Right, it is pretty close in the FPL Family Christmas Present League. Let's have a look at the live stream regulars. Ryan Foley with Another amazing game. I don't know whether, again, these total scores are updated, guys, but 66 is another very good game week for Ryan.
Is that right?
6th in the world, Ryan. 6th in the world. Hazard captain. That right there is why we are not 6th in the world. And that right there is why Ryan is 6th in the world. Hazard captain. That is a ballsy shout, my friend. 188 game week rank. 66. 6th in the world. Ryan Foley. Absolutely superb. That is properly... Don't screw it up, Ryan. You're never going to get another chance like that. Don't. You've got to win it. You've got to win it now, Ryan. Richard Nightfist, also 66, with an overall rank of 208. I mean, guys,
these guys are unbelievable. Why do people listen to us? Go and listen to Ryan and...
Go and follow Ryan on Twitter. Don't
Richard.
get off of here. Go and follow those guys. They know what they're talking about.
Unbelievable.
172 game week rank. Overall rank 208. Richard, that is absolutely super. I'm Ryan in 6th. Absolutely unreal. 792. Peter Stead doing very, very well indeed. Rishabh having a great season. 1.5k. 1.5k. Absolutely superb. Liam, there he is, doing very, very well. Vidar, who I know joins in pretty regularly, and Mark as well. So all of you guys having a phenomenal season. There's Kyle, Chris Bell as well. Shuvik, who we mentioned before, is having a good season. Ketan, Ian. These are all regular, Sam. There's only one explanation for this.
What, they listen to you?
There's only one explanation for why all these guys are doing so well.
They don't listen to you.
They join in regularly with the FPL family at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. That's why they're all doing really well. We're going to take at least 99.9% of the credit for Ryan being 6th in the world. Got to, haven't we?
100%.
100%. 100%.
We are 100% responsible for Ryan being
we totally
6th in the world.
Sitting here last week, you should captain Hazard. That's what we said. So guys, listen, you're all doing absolutely amazing. All of you guys that we mentioned there, absolutely amazing. Ryan in particular, 6th in the world. Absolutely superb.
Leo's right, he's talking about the wooden spoon, but the league's not up to date, so I think it might be hard. But scroll down.
I think we've missed maybe a wooden spoon or two recently, because we've been quite focused on the Christmas present league. But let's have a look, see if anyone's crashed and burned. Let's have a look. Jake Logan there at 48. Let's see if there's anything worse than 48. Another 48. 48 is actually not a bad score, is it?
That's not that far behind us.
47.
We nearly won it.
Yeah, some good scores in this league. 43, Simon Robertson. 43. 41, Lee Bunn. 41. Let's have a look at Manchester United. Let's see if he's still playing. He's taken some transfers. Minus 16 points. Come on. You can't take hits like minus 16 points.
Have I not sent something to Lee before?
In fact, I'm not having that. You can't have a wooden spoon for taking a minus 16. In fact, he's taken a minus 16 and still only got 41.
Yeah, because it's not come off yet.
It's a bit of a shocker.
Is that it? Yeah, 41.
No, 41 I think is it.
No. Yeah.
Let's go with that. So Lee, if you're on...
have I not sent him something already?
You possibly have. He's looking for a whole new kitchen from us. So Lee, if you're on, you know where we are, at FPL Family on Twitter and at FPL Family on Instagram. Come reach out to us and we will get you a wooden spoon in the post to somewhere in the UK you'll be happy to hear.
Yes!
Somewhere in the UK, which is very good. Guys, we're going to finish up
polls
on the polls, if I can do it on my phone, which I probably can't because I couldn't do it last time. So let's see if I can this time.
Oh.
That's you going.
Yes.
That's you going. Yes. I can actually do the polls. Amazingly, I can. Samantha, how important is a premium forward? Samantha.
Goodness me, it's a bit posh.
How important is a premium forward? Have you got to have at least one, or only one's required, or go cheap and just load up a midfield? Don't need any premium forwards.
Only one is required.
Only one. So not you've got to have at least one, and you've got to have maybe one or two.
No, only one.
You're hard and fast on that. Okay. 30% agree that only one is required. Got to have at least one. It's 46, which, to be fair, those answers kind of overlap.
Basically the same thing.
Basically the same answer. Go cheap and load the mid is 22%. So majority of you guys saying, you still want somebody up there. You still want to balance your team in that way.
Still want the ledge.
Yeah, and then the sister question to that is the best budget forward: Rondon, Jimenez, Ings, Chico, or Wilson. If you had to have, or you could only have one of those right now, who would you have?
Oh, well, it's Jimenez, but every part of me wants to say Rondon, but it's Jimenez.
I think you go Jimenez, don't you? 72% say Jimenez. Here's the overwhelming favourite right now. Danny Ings, actually, off the back of today's performance, comes in at 8%. Chicharito in 8% too, and then Wilson and Rondon in at 5%. But Jimenez looks like the absolute one to have. He is a hero right now. There's no doubt about it. Hazard or Salah for the next 4. If you could only pick one, who would you have?
For the next 4?
For the next 4.
Hazard.
Hazard for the next 4. 83% of you guys agree. For the next 4, Hazard.
The
so
fixtures.
That's it.
It's the fixtures.
Now and next wildcard time, which is early on in January, sell Salah, that means, doesn't it? Get rid of Salah for Hazard for the next 4. You just said it yourself.
I just can't.
You've just said it. Get rid of Salah for Hazard for the next 4 and then get him back on the wildcard. You've just said it. You've committed to it now. It's done. It's done. So, guys, that is it. Liam is saying Gabbiadini not in the poll. Absolutely outrageous.
Of course, this also depends upon if Hazard is actually fit.
True. Do we know much about this little knock?
He's flagged at the moment, so just watch. I mean, Chelsea got midweek game as well, haven't they?
I'm pretty sure that he came out himself after the game and said, "It's fine. I'm strong, and it's only a little thing. It's the same as I have every week." Right. So I wouldn't worry too much. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. Guys, that is it. Thank you very much for joining us. Great fun as ever. Great fun as ever. Looking forward to next week, because this time next week we'll be announcing who's got that stadium tour around Wembley as part of the FPL Family Christmas Present League. Is it going to be Liam and his Gabbiadini? If he brought in Gabbiadini as a differential,
then he won't win the league.
Then he's got no chance. Yeah, he's got no chance. And he would, of course, ruin his season, given that he's up in the sort of top 10k and doing really well. So let's not do that. So we're going to be announcing that. We'll do all our usual game week reviews and stuff. I don't know, guys, yet if we're going to be midweek streaming. We don't know yet because my social calendar at work is incredibly busy, and there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to be in a work do on Thursday night, which is when we normally stream. So stay tuned to @FPL Family on Twitter and Instagram. We will try and be here, but if not, we will obviously be back as usual at our usual time of 8 o'clock next Sunday, where we'll be doing all this over again. We'll be looking at reviewing the fixtures, looking at which premium forward we want in that particular week, looking at which premium forward we're going to sell, etc, etc. Leave us a like before you go. Thank you for joining. If you're new and you enjoyed the streams, then go hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the little notify bell as well afterwards, so that you know when we're going live and you get a little notification on your phone, on your laptop to say FPL Family are going live. You won't miss out next time. @FPL Family on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Search FPL Family on Facebook. And we will see you next time.
And don't forget, if we're not here on Thursday, it's a Friday deadline.
Is it a Friday deadline?
Liverpool.
Is it? That's going to be a challenge if I'm out on Thursday night then, isn't it?
Don't FPL and drink.
Don't drink an FPL. On that note, guys, good night. Thanks for joining.
See you later, guys. Take care.